The Out There channel, Robert and Paul.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Yo, how's everybody? Looks like we've got Zero watching. There's the intro I was playing. It said we had 3. So what's that about? Anyway, got some bits to go over. Today's more catch up with the drama, then look at some Bigfoot stuff and discuss it, and Queens UAP, any other stuff that's viral at the moment. Let's post a title. Hey, Mr. G, says you're there. But 0 watching. Well, it's gone to 1 now. It's very flaky. Hey, it's working. I forgot to test it. I thought, oops, when you don't test it, it normally doesn't work after that. But yep, the message highlighter works. Cool. Post up my web link there where you can get most links to all the other stuff, and I'll pin it. I'm not actually too well today. I take these immune suppression pills Mondays and Tuesdays, and they can make you a wee bit sick. They've got some nasty side effects. It can cause birth defects if you try and have a baby, and so you got to anything that sort of damages DNA. Isn't a really nice pill, is it? Especially at sperm level. It makes you wonder what else it's doing to you. But they won't do my eyes until they settle down, and I can't come off the pills until it's all settled down. I'd rather have my eyesight than lose it. And let's just do a cataracts operation, you know, put a new lens in. It's gradually growing across the iris, the lens. The white grows across the lens, but you've probably seen it on Walking Dead. What's the black man's name? I forget. He's got one cataracts eye. Everybody gets cataracts, by the way, eventually. It's normally get later in life. So, yeah. And the operation's about $5,000, I guess. And New Zealand's free, but that's good. But that means you've got waiting lists. Yeah, I'm just surprised that GUFON hasn't mocked me about my eyesight and my spelling mistakes and not be able to read and all that sort of stuff, you know. Other people have. This is ufology for you. They attack your character rather than your work you do. They don't say, here's a mistake, or challenge your solution. So yeah, we'll just go over some of the stuff that GUFON's even been saying about other people and me. Again, you just can't leave me alone. But yeah, it's life. Also, the intro, I think I might be removing Rob from it. He hasn't even shown up once for a live show in a month, so it's back to me again, not to Robert and Paul. Be back to Paul, unfortunately. He's too busy. He keeps saying he's too busy. Always too busy for friends. Too busy to do one show. Even if you show up for an hour. I don't believe it. Anyway, whatever, as they say. Yeah, he doesn't think he's a bully though, does he? He thinks he's allowed his opinion. Opinion doesn't mean insulting and attacking people. It means that you can give your opinion on what they're saying. That's how it should work. You shouldn't go to schoolyard bullying and name calling, because it can affect some people. You know, I'm a tough Kiwi, I can handle it, but that's GUFON's solution. He's Italian. Be a man, take it, keep a stiff upper lip. Unfortunately, that's not the view of today's society, is it? And it does still hurt, you know, even if you can take it, it still hurts your ego. And it may upset your followers. So yeah, it's kind of stupid. Anyway, so the intro may get slightly changed. I have some ideas. I might have a flying saucer instead of Robert's face there, swimming around. From a movie or something like that. I'll see what happens. My earpiece is touching my side pillow here. I'm not sure if you can hear it. I can't hear it, but maybe you can't. I tried to... I lay on the bed, you see, because I got a bad back, and I got this lifter pillows, and I just can't adjust it perfectly right for everything. If I had lots of money, I'd probably be able to get one of those electronic lifters that raises. You put on top of your bed and it lifts up, and you can sit in it like a chair. That's a good idea, but they cost about $2,000. Anyway, on with the show. Enough about me. So yeah, put out this statement here, which I captured just in case he deletes things out. Remember, he says things and then he edits it out because he doesn't want to get community strike or whatever.
Be in control. I've never had this much control over someone's life. I did when it was the Out There channel. Remember the Out There channel? Remember how he used to attack us? He still does. Still does. But, I mean, we haven't mentioned him in like a year and a half, 2 years. The guy got 2 subscribers in 2 years. That's how good he is. Yeah. I seen that the Angry channel lost a few. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to... Oh, Michael R. 27 with 4... you see, now that's a smart one right there. 1420. Thank you so much.
So, you heard what he just said. Now... He reckons I attack his channel. No, I only check. I've never attacked his personality. You know, I don't call him nicknames. I call him GUFON. I might call him a general term, idiot or stupid. but never personal insults like glass eye or mock the voice or whatever. I've never ever done that to him. So he said he's never had this much control over someone. There you go. That's what he did to me. He tried to attack me on a daily basis because he didn't like me debunking his wrong information on balloons. And he thought that was just the bee's knees. And he's done the same to Cambian, right? I'll just play it again. Because anyone new to the channel probably doesn't know the past politics.
In control. I've never had this much control over someone's life. I did when it was the Out There channel. Remember the Out There channel? Remember how he used to attack us? He still does. Still does. But, I mean, we haven't mentioned him in like a year and a half, 2 years. The guy got 2 subscribers in 2 years. That's how good he is. Yeah. I seen that the Angry...
Okay, the Angry channel is obviously the Truthseekers now. Okay, so as you can see, he said I've only got 2 subs in the last 2 years. Well, if you have a look, Google suppresses me. They don't like me. As soon as they go up, they take away subs. I don't know if anyone else gets that out there on their channel, but I've proven it for the last year. That's been they've been trying to hold me back at 2,500 for the last year. I think people sub and then Google unsubs them and they don't recheck. So you can see here I got 1 extra sub for my last live there on BitChute. I got an extra sub on Rumble. Actually, I might have been 2. 3 on brand new Tube. And I think there's 1 or 2 I got on Google there, right? So he talks about fact checking and evidence and all that. That's what he does, you know. Well, he makes up lies against people and mocks them and likes to control people's life. You heard that. He likes to mess around with people's heads. So that's what's that, a psychopath? And he says that's a good, clever person when they start donating money to him.
Channel lost a few. Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna. Oh, my.
In fact, I just checked yesterday with that was a true statement whether he gained subs and the channel he's attacking lost subs. In fact, it's the other way around. Stephen Cambian got a +10 and he got a -10 yesterday. So maybe he's lying again. Stats never lie, right? So yeah, if you want to go and comment on that video, I'll post it down the side. If you're on Twitter. So this is what I call GUFON Bragging, that he's got control over people. You got to remember he influenced Third Phase of the Moon, put a strike against me. And you notice that they never ever have drama on their own channel. They use his channel to attack people. GUFON Brags. So this is leftover bits from last time, which I don't want to spend too long on, but this guy, I just don't understand. If people enjoy this guy's mentality attacking decent people, pretty much, people that have obviously medical issues as well, he's a sad person. If once he starts losing his eyesight, he'll know it'll be almost time for him to give up on the YouTube, on the computer. I get around with it because I use that, right? I use my zooming in, but I know how to configure all that sort of stuff. So he insults Cambian here, which is again a character attack. He calls him a lesbian with a bad haircut. I think Stephen's sort of done his hair to be more like a rocker, to be like something unique, like in a rock band, you know, how they used to do different hairstyles, and he's just insulted him. It's like he's doubled down or tripled down on the insults against Stephen.
Show that likes bashing us and everything else, and now she's starting her.
Okay, so he's calling her she. He did the sexually thing with me. He called me Paula. I thought it was hilarious. And he called my co-host Bigfoot. Started mocking him. And he thought that was Robert, but that was actually another co-host I had. Was quite distraught over it, you know. Speech impairment, making a mockery of it.
Show when we start ours or halfway through it. So she's trying to steal you guys away from me, because, you know, when you have a show where you have 135 people and then all of a sudden it's half of that, you're going to try to steal from the place that, you know, people want to go to instead of the angry channel. You know, Stephen Cambian looks like a lesbian with a bad haircut. Yeah, he does. I'm sorry, I had to say that. Zen Master Me with $2 to kick it off. We are super donated tonight.
Yeah, but you say he's not a good dude, but you can just see his supporters obviously just like him. Like attracts like, I guess. He's got no compassion. Well, that's just a terrible insult. Yeah, you could understand if they're in politics and they're slinging mud at each other on tweets and things, but to make it live on air like that, I don't think anyone, even politicians, would do insults like that, would they? Because that would be liable in court, I think, would be in America. It's just that we're a bit more compassionate, us UFO researchers, because we know people get abducted, and we know we have to feel like we're in their shoes, and rather than take a mockery of it, we've got to think like, okay, let's just believe this one, and then as you hear more and more of the stories, sort of sounding very similar to what you've heard previously, and then you can sort of not work out which ones don't sort of fit into the norm of abductions. They try to do that with stats, of course. I've tried to explain that in one of my early documentary videos on abductions. If you've not seen it, so I sort of took bits and pieces from various abduction researchers and joined it into one big documentary, putting all the facts in one place. So if you've not seen it, go back and find it. It's well worth a watch. So you got to have this. You got to be able to listen to people rather than talk all the time, and let them have their say. And then if you understood what they said, you normally get them to repeat it a few times and see if the story changes, or you sort of change different angles and see if you catch them out. They think you might be just stupid, right? But it's one of the tricks you do. So that was 7:30, was it? No, it was 8:30. You know, you do these sort of things, right? And you just get the story down solid. But yeah, I don't think aliens would ever visit him because his soul is dirty. That's what I say. You got to have the compassion, and you got to grow in human abilities, I guess, because aliens don't want aggressive, assertive people like this to interface with. Remember that one, what's that guy claims that he's been abducted and keeps a shotgun underneath the bed, right? somehow I think they wouldn't bother with him. Or he's made the story up. But I don't think aliens would even be bothering to abduct people like that in the first place. Anyway, they could paralyse you. They got the ways of doing it. So he's not going to grab his gun and be able to control the situation at all. That's why the government won't talk about it, right? And they won't say, yes, aliens exist and they can do whatever they like. We can't stop them. Because there'll be panic worldwide. But anyway, I know it's wild. They don't even seem to care, his fans, no. Unless it's rigged. Like maybe Third Phase has paid out $1,000 to various people to go along to his channel and donate to him to make him look good and to keep him on the air, and that way they're sort of, excluded. And I know Tyler Clockner did that with security. He paid off people like that. He paid off Nocturnal News to do that, the guy, his cousin, because he admitted to it on their Patreons and stuff. I can't see aliens hanging out with people like that, no. Definitely not. So he claims that he had alien visitors and aliens on his videos in between the static and all that sort of stuff. Let's see if I can adjust it better. Yeah. No, it doesn't work. I might have to figure that out a wee bit later. Yeah. Where was I? I just got sick of it rubbing against the headset. Let's get some Toulouse here. That's better. Okay, might be better now. So that's that one if you want to go and comment on it. Or spread it around saying this guy's no good. Calls Steve Les. Even though Cambian ignores me, and I asked him not to go on his show to start with, and he did, so, and that disappointed me, because I thought he was really a truther, and truthers do not go on people's channels that promote frauds, and you don't give them a option out. He's learnt his lesson hard. He's got attacked exactly the same way I did, and that will happen with anyone that talks out against Third Phase and him. So if Alien Addict does it next, he'll be on the way out, and if Alien Scientist does, he'll be on the way out. But at least they've used them to gain subs, right? To gain recognition. Got some new life to their life channels, life presentations, because you need new people all the time, and the same ones don't always donate for life, do they? They donate a certain amount and then they go away. So this is what Steve had to say about it, and that's what GUFON said days after, right? You can see whatever Steve said here didn't sink in. And he's basically said what I said, really.
Look what they did!
Alright, so this intro was quite good. I did post it up on Twitter, but we'll play it off this video. It might be a bit loud, actually.
Heated when it comes to poor rich man, because honestly, he is the epitome of this attitude that
it's so fun beginning.
Pronounce words. Learn to not falsely
can't quite get there. I better not play the music. We watch the dancing alien. And then, I don't know, that bar at the bottom of this play here is not very accurate. It sort of jumps quite a few. Yeah, so someone's done step motion there, or it's CGI. It looks like it's CGI of the aliens, doesn't it? Peter Jackson used to do that in the old days with plasticine and action men and stuff, and just take one frame at a time and make it into a movie. So I didn't really move that much on the bar there, and it looks like it's at least a few minutes of that intro. Still hasn't started. Okay, it might be now, is it? Not quite. Here it comes. Yay, finally. Truthseekers, here we go. He's got a long intro.
If I were a rich man, I would stop getting upset every time someone disliked your bread-winging boyfriend's third phase of moon. I'd learn to read a book. Learn to pronounce words. Learn to not falsely accuse people of being a Learn to not disrespect people's disabilities because you are so much of an immature incel you sit and stream every night pretending to be Howard Stern.
Pedophile?
Poor man's Howard Stern.
Maybe it does.
With every bit of misogynistic fervor as his namesake.
You gotta show a little cleavage while you're on top of that. Gee, I wonder why somebody picked her up and put her on a popular show.
I can barely see, you know, because I got one bad ball. But hey,
I get rather heated when it comes to poor rich man, because honestly, he is the epitome of this attitude that is pervasive in YouTube. He does it, third phase does it. Zero respect for the subject, maximum effort put into grifting the audience. Anything to get attention, and keep the spotlight on them. Got a channel that hasn't sided yet? You bet your ass they will try to buy you. Oh, promote my documentary and we'll send some viewers your way, some subscribers. They are taking you for a ride, listener. Sometimes I wonder how this conflict will end. Rich is not the kind of man to admit he has done something wrong. He thrives on dramatic self-victimizing conflict that he instigates so he can go to his dumb as rocks audience and say, "See? Look what they did!" Textbook narcissism. Remember how mad he got over Manny showcasing Who's Lou on Steven's channel? He showed right there that his priority is grifting off of other people.
Then we see you on Cambian's show, talking about your documentary and Lou Elizondo. I didn't even watch the show, didn't give a fuck. Because, you know, Third Phase of Moon watched it, everybody else did. I did not watch even that part of it. Because I'm like, why didn't you even contact us? I mean, we're the ones who really initiated this narrative that you glommed onto over the course of us talking about it and made videos and stuff about Lou. And then you don't even ask me if I can showcase your video. No message, nothing. And you go over to Cambian's show. Which, by the way, I introduced Cambian to GUFON. And if it wasn't for me doing that, he would have far less numbers than he does. Far less. I'm talking 30 to 40% less. He can laugh all he wants, but when you see when he's not attacking anybody, his numbers are half of what we have here at GUFON. So, you're welcome. Acknowledgement. But that's why I'm a little pissed.
And how did he get his subs? By teaming up with Third Phase and using them to promote his channel. Remember, he was way behind my number of subs to start with. But for some reason, Google seems to like this guy. Because he gets lots of donations, maybe, and they're getting 30% of it because everybody's using mostly Super Chat. But I know he's got 60 memberships now. and it keeps on growing. So there's obviously a lot of similar thinking people to GUFON out there. And they like to listen to his insults and attacks. But he says he keeps wanting to change. He hasn't grown. He hasn't grown out of that. He's always going to be the same. Just like this guy has pinned him. He said he just can't let stuff be.
He obfuscates, deflects every bit of criticism that is levied, something his boyfriends taught him quite well. Toxic behavior. His time as a wannabe internet radio host is coming to an end though. People are waking up to the fact that the Emperor is wearing no clothes and in fact has the intelligence of a prairie dog. Funny to laugh at, but you don't want him near you. This video is not for Rich, but his audience. Rich is beyond saving and perhaps never wanted to be. He has his niche, his grift. Tend to be kind and fun while on the air, except when he lets his real self slip through. He even knew that he fucked up and then he deleted it.
Maybe it does.
Support who you want. But by being on his channel, you send a clear sign of how you feel about real integrity in ufology. Fuck GUFON and the deceased second-hand cattle you got from Blake and Brent that you rode in on. Have a great day.
So that was really good. What do you think of that summary? I think that guy nailed it, whoever he was. I don't know. Someone in UK, obviously. So Steve starts to talk about it now. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a copyright claim on that background music there, though. We'll see. But it's worth playing, even if I lose ads.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Boy, what a crazy week it has been. But we are back. Some say I'm obsessed. But the truth is, I get a little obsessive when someone is on the internet telling 10 or 12 lies about me, implying I may have pedo friends, I may myself be a pedo, and how do you follow up that act? That is the worst, most deplorable thing you could do, is attach that word to someone's name with no evidence or no proof. But this will show you the level of desperation that someone is at to need to do that. A real man in a disagreement or an argument would present his arguments with facts and logic. And I'm sure I wouldn't be the first to suggest to you that when somebody needs to go that low to attach that word to their opponent's name, and then that's pretty goddamn low. But how could you follow up that? Could you get even lower? How low could Rich go? After that, he follows up making a video about me and making fun of the fact that I have a paralyzed eye. For those unaware, I do have something called third nerve palsy, which is not just a disability. It's commonly called lazy eye. I got it from a life-threatening brain aneurysm. And I've made my peace with it, but it is a disability that I live with daily. I have a lot of problems because I don't have two good eyes, so I have a lot of visual problems. I suffer from depth perception problems. I often reach past something that I'm looking for. So if you're blessed enough to have two good working eyes, thank your maker for that. And be thankful that you don't suffer every day with a debilitating disability. The fact that Rich just thought this was a good idea. How do I follow up the P thing? How do I follow that up? How can I display to the world, after I've just displayed to the world what a scumbag I am to do that, how can I follow it up? How can I shock jock this even worse to get views and attention? Because I have no facts to argue with my opponent with. I have
Very
no
true.
evidence to argue with my opponent with. How do I follow up that P comment? Well, I'll go on a public YouTube video and I will make fun of my opponent's physical disability. And by the way, for those unaware, if you suffer from third nerve palsy, look it up, search Google Images. It's not just a physical disability, it's also a disfigurement. Your face becomes disfigured. Your face is never the same once that nerve damage occurs. And many people who suffer from my condition suffer from many self-esteem problems. Me, I've made my peace with it. There was a time it bothered me a great deal, but I learned to put a pair of cheap sunglasses on and laugh it off. After all, I walked away from a life-threatening illness, walking and breathing, after rehabilitation for many months. The scar of that event in my life I carry, and that is I have a paralyzed eye. But for Rich to follow up this pedo stuff with making a video making fun of my physical disability, does anybody remember? Maybe it's just me, but I remember some things from my childhood. Growing up in Philadelphia, there was a man named Francis in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and he suffered from Down syndrome. I was 6 or 7 at the time, as I recall, and he must have been 40 or more. He had elderly parents that he lived with, and some of the mean kids in the neighborhood would call him the R word, make fun of him. They would knock things out of his hands, and he was a kind, gentle soul who never hurt anybody. And when I saw those children do that, I became enraged, even getting in a fight with one of them once. So Rich is essentially...
Maybe one of the kids back then was named called Rich and doesn't even realize it. It'd be funny, wouldn't it?
The mean kid that is making fun of disabled people. That lowlife that would go so far as to make fun of someone that suffers from a disability, or in my case, a disfigurement. Does that make you feel like a man, Rich? Does that make you feel manly? And we also saw in the video that I showed earlier of his rant with alien addicts. By the way, I believe that was all a setup. I believe that whole show was set up so Rich could go and talk crap for all that time. And, but that's my personal belief. I'm entitled to it. But the fact that he also tonight went and did like he was proud of the fact that he made a video making fun of my physical disability.
Yep.
He thought that was great. That was great comedy. And to those of you that are so perhaps uninformed of what he did there, that you're cheering him on in the live chat or cheering him on in the comments, do you support making fun of somebody's physical disability? Do you support making fun of somebody who's physically disfigured from a life-threatening illness that they suffered? Would you support him making fun of kids in wheelchairs next? I mean, what level do we go to?
They probably would, actually.
And again, all of this began because I say Third Phase of Moon peddle garbage. He chose to defend them, put me on blast, tell everyone I'm the bad guy. We've seen time and time again this P comment that he made directed at my friends and me. Now we see that he is so desperate to save face and has no facts and no evidence that he will make a video making fun of my paralyzed eye. By the way, that's the second time now. The P comment was a community guideline strike. Maybe he's unaware, so I will educate him. Hey, Rich, I don't know what world you live in, but I live in the real world. And I've already consulted with YouTube, and making fun of somebody's physical disability on YouTube is a community guideline strike.
Do it, Stephen, do it.
Is he so willing to attack me that he's willing to risk his only livelihood, his only source of money? And how sad is that? That he's willing to just risk his paycheck by making fun of somebody's physical.
That just pose another question, though. Does he know that he's protected? That he falls outside Google's rules? Because I've tried to bring up this to Google's admin before, and they totally ignore it. They don't think calling me a pedo was a community strike. Mocking the co-host, speech impairment with his voice as a Bigfoot. They didn't see that as a community strike. So who's running the show at Google? So good luck, Stephen. Perhaps you got some lawyers for Google to try and get those strikes. As if you beat your foreign girlfriend, it's still considered domestic abuse. I think you're talking about the other person, Tyler Klockner, of security, because that's what he did, and he got a lesser charge in the end because the principal witness didn't show or whatever. But there was a police report and all that, so he got a $200 fine out of it. So is maybe GUFON being protected by the government? Because now he's like he's a good 60%, 70% disinformation now himself, right? He goes on about Lou being disinformation, which the government probably wouldn't like too much. That he should be working with Lou, if that's the case. But I think, and that disproves that Lou's not disinformation, and GUFON is the disinformation agent. Third phaser, because they've been around for a while now, and the FBI hasn't sort of raided them for faking videos with CGI to try and make money off it, because that's got to be a criminal offence, isn't it? That's fraud in anybody's eyes. And same with a secure team doing hundreds and hundreds of fraud videos, where he's been caught out on probably about 5 of them, proven 100%, and they haven't raided him. And still people defend these guys. Yeah, he should be taken down because he's just too cocky. But they just see it's okay for channels to fight each other. I don't know, it's kind of strange. It really is. Seems like there's a double standards. And maybe there's people working in the inside that likes these guys and unticks things that get ticked on. Who knows what's going on? Yes, it's exactly the same that happened in politics, you know, left, right mentality, and the left could lie left, right, and centre and get away with it. You know, there's lots of court actions happening right now where they're exposing all the lies, and the mainstream media not even trying to report on it. Apart from Fox News, of course. So, yeah. It's the same in the UFO field.
Physical disability on YouTube, which is a clear violation of community guidelines. You can't do it, Rich. I can't go on YouTube and make fun of kids in wheelchairs. I would get a community guidelines strike. You can't, Rich, go on YouTube and make fun of me for having a paralyzed eye. It's a community guideline.
See, Stephen's quite professional here. He's actually given advice to Richard, if he's bothered going to listen to what he's saying here, to cut it out and to grow up. Because he's risking everything. His livelihood on YouTube. So, yeah. Steve's bang on. And, of course, Steve's been through that before, where he's slandered someone and ended up having to pay $25,000 in courts. So Steve's been through all that. And, of course, obviously he hasn't taken him to court yet. Because we've not heard GUFON looking very sad and saying, oh, he's got the lawyers on me. or I've got 3 community strikes and I'm going to lose my channel. I haven't heard anything. So obviously, Steve's very lenient, like I was. You know, you can only help someone so much, and if they don't listen, you know. I think, like me, like I forgive Stephen for going on his show because it's about the greater good, right? Once I blocked him, then I unblocked him because I thought, well, the greater good that he's actually exposing other frauds. So overall, the greater good's there, but he did get a boost to his subs through the wee bit of working that he did with GUFON and stuff, and panel chats with Third Phase and all that. But yeah, maybe that's part of his plan though as well. Maybe just get the inside and then tear him down. Maybe they'll say something that he can capture and bring it to the public and say, well, this is what they said. They admit to doing hundreds of CGI and not getting them an email. I believe that's maybe what they said to Tyler Clockner. Tyler Clockner apparently got a load of emails where they admit stuff, and Nocturnal News has made reference to it. Whether those will be the greater good and actually release that information to the public is yet to be seen. But they've been holding on to it like a trump card, right? And if anything they don't like, they bring out the trump card and take them down. I'm surprised by how professional Steve has been with rich stuff. He could have taken it far worse. Yeah, he could have done comedies. Yeah, and taken it to court too. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Very true. But that's ufology for you. It's all this in there. And it makes sense that if you had like the smoking gun evidence video footage, the government want to close you down. Because they certainly don't have the smoking gun video footage unless you're into balloons. And seagulls or whatever it is. Yeah. It's interesting seeing how all the politics is working. It's more in your face than it used to be, I think. And there's certainly a lot more YouTube channels on UFOs popping up all the time, isn't there? And they're just sort of copying the same format, you know, just play videos and say, I don't know, guys, I'll leave it up to you to decide, you know. Underbelly is one of them, maybe 777, Mr. MBB, you name them, they're just cropping up left, right and centre. And they got a lot of subs. And UFO Man is another one. I don't know, guys. I'll leave it up to you. But I think it's a UFO, you know. But no evidence, no breakdown of why he thinks it's a UFO. That doesn't confirm to it being a mundane object, like
Guideline strike. You just screwed up again. How many rules is he willing to break to come after me? But this is the point. He has no arguments. We have facts. We have dates and a timeline and evidence. And we posted this video showing how he lied 10 or 12 times about me. And we showed why he lied. So I've challenged him for each of those 10 or 12 lies. He's putting words in my mouth. He said I said this. He said I said that. I said, show the clips, Rich. Where are the clips? Or are you just putting words in my mouth? You're manufacturing things because you have no argument here. That's how weak he is. He's an intellectual weakling. He can't win this argument. He knows he can't win this argument. So his only play left is to try to damage me, try to humiliate me into silence. And Rich, if you didn't know better, I will not be humiliated into silence here. It's not going to work. He has nothing else that he can say. So he's going to try to turn people against me. He keeps saying I'm lying. Show me the proof I'm lying. Show me the proof I lied, Rich. Where? Where did I lie? Show it to me. He can't. So what does he do? He implies that I may have pedo friends and that may make me a pedo as well. Then he makes a video making fun of my physical disability, which, by the way, is something I can't change, Rich. Thank God you have two good eyes, right? You don't have to suffer through that. And hey, let's be clear. I live a happy, full life. I don't let it affect me any more than it has to. But for somebody to make a video making fun of that, it tells you everything you need to know about him. That right there, those two things right there will teach you everything you need to know about what kind of man he is. He is like those mean kids in the neighborhood.
So why did his wife leave Richards? Anyone should do an interview with his wife. Because ex-wife interviews are generally pretty good. Same as what happened with Billy Meyer, right? Oh yes, he sat there in the garage with his one arm making models up, and he used a trash can lid for the wedding cake one. Blah blah blah. And of course, then he's got his son also, Billy Meyer's son, come out. So yeah. I'm not sure if he says quite a lot here actually, doesn't he? I won't play it all. I'll just skim a bit.
I apologize to everybody. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, I feel really bad about what happened and what I said. It's doublespeak. He can't get it straight in his own mind because his mind is filled with all of these lies that he has to continually spout. And again, he can tell you I'm lying. He doesn't show you.
He tried to say that he didn't fact check that guy that was saying that they stole the video. They got it off Jamie Mason. Well, it doesn't really matter because what the guy said is that he said he wasn't in contact with Blair at all. So he was defending them, but he didn't have all the facts himself. And he's saying that he's a, what's that, a hoaxer debunker, where he makes up facts to fit the agenda. That's exactly what Richard does. Crazy.
And also saying, hey, this is more doublespeak. Hey, if they've been caught faking things in the past 5 years, I just couldn't associate with them. Well, we've proven February 2022, faked something. April 2022, faked something. May 2022, faked something. Now we're going to show you some more recent fakes that they have pushed in the past couple of months. Is he gonna be a man of his word and no longer associate with them? No! He's gonna double down and make excuses. The one thing that I am disappointed about, but this is to be expected, I expected him to take each example we gave of them faking stuff and make excuses. They must have told him, shit, this stuff is completely fake, and don't bring it up. You'll just remind people of how fake it is. Don't make the excuses. Just disparage him. Just humiliate him. Just try to turn people against him. Don't,
And that's what they did to me too. It's amazing. We're seeing history repeats itself. It's like World War One and World War Two. Then it's going to be World War Three. So I'll post the link to Steve's thing there. I won't play any more of it, but you can see that's pretty much said it all, really. But yeah, GUFON, instead of playing the clip on his channel, he will talk about it and twist the facts. It will leave things out. It will take things out of context and make it sound worse than it is. And that's what he did with my stuff. Instead of playing the video of me actually saying that statement to prove him right, which he wasn't, because he was making up a story, and where I didn't actually say that, is hilarious, but also very sad. He did exactly the same with a post he read on what's that guy, UFO Joe, what's his name, Joe Merger. Joe Merger replied to me and said, yeah, I don't want him deleted off YouTube. Basically, he didn't want him censored. He's allowed to have his own opinions, but I don't agree with the insults and all that sort of stuff. And he read it to think, there you go, he wants to take me off YouTube. He didn't say, he didn't read it properly, right? And I pointed that out lots of times in the past. And this is the thing with Richard, he doesn't read things fully, he sort of skims. And if you leave out the word, I don't want him removed, and if you skim over don't want, and he just reads removed from Google, he thinks the opposite. It's stupid. But you have to go back over my past live streams, check my GUFON playlist. Cambian. So hopefully that's the last, although we don't know what's going to come out this week. Cambian final comments. We'll see where it goes next, I guess. Yeah, it's not really moving us forward in ufology whatsoever, but people just got to be aware of the liars in the field, who are the better people to listen to versus the bad people. Else you're just gonna believe in fantasies, right? Yeah, he talked about the Queen's birthday UFO there. Let me just see. So there's kind of some interesting things here to go over. Let me just go through his debunk, and I'll add the actual correct information to it.
In the wine. Boom.
Okay, so let me just skim back a wee bit. So that's it. 126. So I just want to go back to this stuff here. This Australian old guy keeps promoting his also disinformation, claiming stitching errors on Mars are actually little doorways. Remember, they measured them, they're only like 2 foot tall and 1 foot wide, and they fool people, right?
Yeah. I'd rather live on the moon.
We'd rather Richard lived on the moon too. That's funny. That's in the right place there.
Rectangular edges,
Yeah, that's
and
unbelievable.
the uniform width
I don't know, man.
to that as well.
Okay, so again, let's just have a look at that one. It's quite a lot.
You don't have to work out as hard. Capiche? Hey! It's a one capiche.
The main entranceway. So check this out, folks. We've got very smooth, flat surface.
Yeah, so I've not actually looked at this, but to me it looks like there's already missing data there. See there? We've got a block of missing data. Yeah, we've got a block of missing data. And oddly enough, where it's stitched together, the photographs you can see here, clearly it's stitched together there. And he's saying it's a smooth edge. That's because it's missing data. And it's at the edge of the camera sensor. And that's how it stitches it together, you see. It's not actually shadows. Of course, some of it is less sharp as well. Just keep on going. So this is why you got to be careful of these guys making up stories like straight edges. But we know that basalt is like crystallized rock, and it will actually shatter for impacts and things into straight lines. We see it on Earth. I've already gone over it many times, but
this is right angles. We've got a diagonal line running across the
Damn, that looks
back
wild.
slab, if I could call it that. There.
See,
No.
GUFON shows his intelligence here. He's not done any research on this technical side of cameras, so he's going to be like in it 18 years now. I'm not sure if he's expert on pinhole cameras, but that's the sort of technology level he's up to. Anything to do with CMOS and CCD and all the different lens artifacts and sensor limitations, he is clueless on. And how NASA processes its images. And we know even on Google Earth that it creates errors in its topology algorithm. It's only an estimation, but sometimes you get these strange missing chunks as well, and it looks abnormal. You can find it on planet Earth, Moon, and Mars. So it's not perfect, the software on Google.
So we've got some.
And you can see he's going on in the background. Wow, yeah, good find.
Machined surface over here. Check out the rectangular edges.
Now, he's saying I would be attacking him on this. I'm just pointing out his limitations. That's not exactly attacking. And if he's listening, he could go and research it and see that I'm correct. But he won't. He doubles down. He attacks back. Right.
And the uniform width
I don't know, man.
to that as well. And there they are for comparison. Check this piece out. It's very...
Okay, so in the same photograph series, he's found other stitching errors and artifacts of straight lines where there's missing data. So he's saying, look at this doorway here. And can we see if there's any stitching errors on it? To me, it looks like this here is missing some information in color. So that's a color information missing there. See, it sort of overlaps here, like it's like a bit of tape over top of it. And if you look down in the corner here, see that there, the color's not right. It's correct up the top here. It looks like the shadow's shining on it, but it's not right down further down the bottom here. And it's a lot more blurrier as well. Maybe not by much. That side is sharp, and this side here looks blurry. See that? In fact, there looks like a face. I'm not sure if you've seen that too. Kind of looks like an evil clown face there, or a skull popping out. So when he hasn't noticed that, pareidolia. There's a little hatchway they're poking their head through, looking at us. Oh yeah, GUFON will say. Yeah. So if we've got some missing data here, what are we really seeing though? Looks like chunk of rock falling out, because it looks like it's that further down where his head is. See, there's a lot of debris there. And there's a big crack here. See that crack there running on that pillar? If you want to call it a pillar. There's a big crack in the wall where it's sort of dropped out a piece, right? But I don't know. Could that be stitching error right along there as well? I think it might be, you know. Seems to run up top here. Unless it's a crack. Oop. Actually, I could probably use that. Unless that's a crack. Is it stitched together there? It looks like it does, doesn't it? Looks like there's a straight bit that goes along here, stops there and comes down. And it comes down over this top of this here, all the way down there. So it looks like there's a shadow, or it's inserted when it's not. So it's actually where the sort of overlaid two images, and it hasn't sort of got the missing bit in between. It's, you know, they sort of adjusted it correctly and realised that the satellite hasn't actually got an overlapping image here where they can join it together. But anyway, let's just keep on going.
Similar to that part there.
And they all have...
Any research?
And look at this. You got your striation right there. You got another, whatever they call that, striation. Is that what they're called? I know we have those.
So he's saying words and he's still not sure on the meaning, right? Okay, so that one there... I'm not sure again if that's a stitching error, but it could be that it's missing data there where the blackness is again, rather than it being shadow. So it could be a crack in the rock running this way. The depth is wrong because there's missing data, so there's a whole chunk here. Actually, it's not a whole chunk. It's just a little chunk here. Seems to be missing data. We can see there's a crack running down there. So there's a crack running along there. So it kind of looks like it's an insert when it's really not. So it's a bit like this one over here. Exactly the same. This one's been lightened up by him, but looks like you can see the cracks running right down through the wall. And this looks like some stitching or even colour information missing where it's too dark. So it makes it look like it's inserted where it's actually part of the wall. And it's not that far in. It's probably only a few inches in. But you got to remember this doorway here was 2 foot by 1 foot. So just keep on going.
Those in for our bodies. That is interesting. God. Do we want to go to Mars, where there may have been, and we don't know, but maybe there's a small being living on Mars. Maybe like
2 foot beings now.
Maybe.
Well, it doesn't fit with abduction stories, though. We know they're about 4 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. So that means they have to bend over a wee bit.
We don't know why. It would make sense if they were really small humanoid type of.
Although there is stories of these little gnome type men that sort of sharp at the bed, so maybe. It's fixing into the fantasy, you know. Oh yeah, it could be the gnomes. That's where they're from, and they escaped nuclear war and settled on planet Earth in the caverns, and sometimes they pop up through portals. So you can just draw a fantasy from that, but it's not factual or evidence. So they're leading, trying to make it sound factual rather than theory. The theory is it could be these creatures that people have seen on Earth that used to live there. That would be acceptable in my book, as long as you make it clear that it's a theory or my opinion, but not what scientists are saying or the majority of people are saying. There was life there, it's long gone. Yeah, because it hasn't got the atmosphere to support it, has it? But it could be, terraformed. And scientists are still thinking about trying to do that. Even if you do it for experiments, it would probably be really interesting to see if it worked out. But could it create something even worse, like some sort of deadly virus that wipes out Earth? We've sort of got that scenario happening at the moment, haven't we?
Things living on Mars underground. It kind of would make.
So if they're living underground, they certainly don't seem to want to hide their doorways very well. Like we see these little pixie beings, right? And some people claim the actual really there. But we don't see little doorways they've entered into, else we'd be exploring it like we do with the pyramid shafts and things, right? So, yeah. There'd have to be some evidence now of these little doorways in Earth, and people stuck cameras down them, or captured evidence, unless it's a major cover-up.
Makes sense that they would be small and maybe stocky even. No, not stocky. They wouldn't be stocky. They'd be short. I think they would.
Anyway, moving on. On to the next thing.
This is from Lunar Anomalies and Beyond, from Chris's channel, and the link to this will also be in the description, and permission is granted for everything if we wanted to. Here we go. 3, 2, go.
This photo, you're definitely going to want to check it out as well and fine-tooth comb this photo. All right, let's get into this. This is cool because the objects that are in here is just amazing, because it's not so much the objects but the way they're laid out, right? Now, I'm not going to cover it all because it's going to be happy hunting for you guys that really want to get into this. But let me show you a couple things that are really interesting without having to do anything to this photo. Now, all of these dark areas, these are put here. These are absolutely put here. And the white ears is...
Okay. What's it look like, guys? We've got half a crater here. And then we got missing data. He said it's been there deliberately. Yet we're about to find probably photographs of the same area, which is even better quality of that full crater, which we've done in the past. Scott Brando does those. So you can see there's a line there, so it's definitely missing data, and you can see it's got the straight edges again. Missing data. So this is made out of that size photographs, and they just overlay them. And if there's missing, they just leave it missing. I reckon they should color code it blue or something, or red, so it shows up, rather than looking like shadows. Well, that's Google for you.
as well. So what I tried to do in Photoshop was try to darken some of these white areas, see if you can pull anything out. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, right? Okay. You can start anywhere in this photo, just have a look around. You'll see things like in the middle of the screen, really long rectangular looking piece. Now that may be part of mountains, it may not be. But when you look at some of the features in here, you're going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? Let's take a look over here at the very left of the photo, right? We'll start there.
It looks
Very
like rocks
top.
to me.
So let's get into that. And then we're going to drop down real quick. Just some of the features, like I said, guys, is just pretty cool, okay? Let's just jump down any random place. Doesn't really matter. You can see, like, some of these pieces right here in the middle. You see right there, it's got this kind of... Right here, it's kind of this U-shaped outline. With these, like, squares or different shapes in there. They look like they have straight edges to them. And I'm going to try to put everything...
Yeah, okay, I can see a line going across there where they stitched it together. See that? Isn't it? Isn't it where they're stitched? And you can see this, looks like maybe white areas that got missing data this time, so that should be another color code, right? Looks like we got instead of a black block, we got a white block that's happening here. Looks like there's several photographs stitched together there, and we got like a straight edge happening. See that there on that dark shadow side of things. Again, you can see there's little white bits missing there. Black bits obviously missing as well. So some are shadows and some are not, obviously. So that's why it should be color coded, really. Then I'll stop these people talking about it.
Everything in the middle of the photo, if you cannot see my cursor, so you'll be able to do it that way. So smack dab in the middle, you see this, again, this U-shaped kind of area, right? This area here, guys, this is cool. All this right here on the left-hand side, look at some of the features. Again, use your magnifiers if you have to, because it's going to help. Because a lot of you guys I know are on the smaller devices with the little tablets and so on and so forth. But just right here on the left-hand side next to this white area, you've got these two long pieces that are identical, and just these triangular pieces that are right here, 1, 2, 3 next to each other, and some other features here, right? And you always want to...
Okay, I can't even see where his mouse pointer is. I don't know about you. But again, we've got a straight line going across there. Triangle bits. So he's talking about these black bits, I think. Again, I think that might be elevation data errors, you know, in the length of the shadows, where it's trying to convert a 2D image into, so you can see little peaks there as well. But that looks correct over there, mostly. The shadows going downwards, but those ones seem to be going upwards, so to me that looks like errors. And obviously not, well, it's data corruption of some sort, maybe in the algorithms where it's stitching together.
I want to take a good look at the closest areas to the actual these wells.
Man, you know, this has got to be the most frustrating job on the planet. Because a lot of things have right edges, like this over here, and then you got something here, and then stuff over here. I mean,
it's hard to see his mouse, isn't it?
Which things have been, which are legit and which ones aren't? I guess you really don't. But it's the hardest job these people have, and the weird thing is we don't know if they're right or wrong.
Supposed to be shadows, but clearly they're not. And let's say they are. That's fine.
You could go and search out other photos of the same area by other, like Russians or the Chinese. Anyway, let's move on. I find these quite boring.
Quick enough. Do we have the food to survive? We'd all rather take a dirt nap here.
Okay, I think the green one's coming up.
There's I don't know. To me,
this is focus on the jets itself.
So we probably could look at that video directly on third phase. So let's see what he says about it.
And locked in on that focus at, I don't know, approximately, I'd say about 100 yards, the camera from the aerial shot there, from the jets itself.
I think it's longer.
If it's locked in on that focus,
I think it's
then it's in close proximity to the jets, in my opinion. And then therefore,
I think that camera's
it
far
could be
away, quarter of a mile.
some kind of UFO. This is interesting where the children are looking up, and I'm not sure if they're looking up at the.
All right,
obviously, they're looking up at the jets, but
wait, hold on.
there's a reaction by the kid. He's like, "Whoa, look at that! Is that a UFO?"
I hate
Maybe
using this. So now you saw that.
It's terrible.
I really hate it.
So Blake's saying this and that, and he's painting a picture in your head. He's saying the object's 300 feet away, blah, 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 all this for the planes. There's no evidence of that in a 2D image. Unless the pilot said so, or some other statement come out. Saying that the kids actually saw it as well. Now that's just fabricating a fantasy story. You don't know what the kids were saying.
Hate the way StreamYard's screwing me. Frickin' hate it. It's not right. Now, this next video is going to show you something that we just saw, but you didn't see it. I didn't notice it. But now, we have something here that shows you an update. You can see, they're going to show you. This object is starting way out here. And when the video we just saw, we see it off on the side, right? Watch this. That's where we see it start the video, right? It's two of them, they say. I didn't see two. I don't know. Maybe there is. It's weird though, right? Now that is crazy. Wait, two? Let's see that again.
If there's two, what, they paint a blue line tracking the blue one as well. Now, when I saw that, it looks like something that's closer to the camera and not near the planes. I don't know about you. Which generally can be normally classed into three things, really, isn't it? Birds, balloons, or a bug. I don't know if anyone saw it with their eyes. I don't think so. But Third Phase is claiming the boys saw it. So the question is, which way is the wind going? Now, obviously, if you just take it by the planes itself, the planes are going to fly into a headwind because the tails creation wouldn't be right? They'd be blown at the face. If they were going with the wind, the tail would form into a mess at the end, wouldn't it? It would blow all the coloured dye into one. So it's got to have it so the wind is actually blowing that smoke this way. Right? Does that make sense to you? Even without having to look up the weather direction at height, these planes have already done that, so they know which way to fire the smoke guns in order that the wind carries it away, right? And they've looked at the speed of the wind, because the speed of the wind, if it goes over a certain speed, they know it's going to ruin their effect, right? Sometimes they've got no choice and the weather changes. Sometimes you see air shows where the smoke gets destroyed very quickly. I think last year's a USA parade. There was one incident where they're doing the smoke trails, and it wasn't coming off really nice, crisp, clear like it is here. But anyway, someone has looked this up on Twitter, saved us the time. They said it was like a 2 to a 7 knot wind. So that's from 2 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour. So it's a very gentle wind. So they're flying into this maximum 7 knot wind at the altitude. Of course, it changes with altitude. So in that case, it can't be a balloon, because a balloon is some said is stationary. But if it's a 7 knot wind, the only way that balloon could be stationary in this video is if it was tethered. And I don't think it's going to be tethered, right? So I'm going to rule out balloon. And you can see here it bends around and then goes against the wind. So I'm going to rule out it being a party balloon, a latex balloon, or a mylar balloon. For now. Unless it's a modified balloon. Now there are exceptions. As we pointed out last live stream, was it the stream before, that we found some blimps that had RC motors on it, so you can actually control it, float, use the balloon like a camera platform. And there may be someone out there in public thought of using their RC blimp, because it's a gentle wind, to fly it around with a camera so they could film the people below rather than the air display, because I think it's closer. Who knows? People were saying it's a drone and all that. So it's a possibility. That's the fourth one. I forgot to mention drone. But it could be just one of these RC blimp cameras that someone's flying around. But would it be that stable in a 7 knot wind? See, I'm thinking it's more likely going to be a bird, because there's 2 objects, and I think they sort of join up, which birds tend to do when they're sort of flying around. They see each other, they then attack each other or join up with the other one in formation and fly back down to a tree or whatever. So we just keep on watching it. I'll probably have to run it through some filters and editors and see if we can see if it could be a bird that's sort of got motion blur and camera artifacts, which again could make that sort of what people were saying, can make that ball shape, a flapping ball shape, which is possible. So we can't rule out birds, bugs, and bulls, and bulls in this case being balloons.
Oh, shoot!
Okay, so we got 2 objects now, is it? 2 orbs. So, but you can see, look at the motion blur. So those planes are flying into the wind, using common sense and science.
Look at that! Oh my god! If this is real, this is crazy.
So if it's 2 orbs, it's more likely to be 2 birds.
See, now, if that was just the camera messing up, we would have 2 planes, you know, double everything, the buildings. If that was just... Oh, wow.
Okay, so we got to take and roll a shutter artifact as well, which GUFON doesn't talk about because he doesn't understand it. So this is filming landscape, so rolling shutter would probably be going from left to right, although it depends on the camera make. So that means if the camera moves, which we've got motion blur here, it can actually convert that image here to another image here, and it creates a false image. But let's see where it goes. If it goes further than let's say an inch on the screen, then we can rule out it's being roller shutter movement.
Wow, this is weird. Wow.
Still motion
this
blur.
Is real? I don't like this, guys. Look at that. 2 of them. Oh, that is unreal. It is 2.
Where is 2? I don't see
Watch.
2 though.
I'll count down. Look at this. 3, 2, 1.
Have we got 2, or is it just rolling shutter? I got a feeling it could be rolling shutter. Look how stretched it is there.
Wow.
Wow! This is stupid behavior. Wow! And he hasn't even mentioned rolling shutter. And close together like that, it's probably rolling shutter.
And then it goes into 1. Boom.
Goes into 1, so that kind of sounds like rolling shutter, where the frame's proceeded and the rolling shutter's now gone past, and it's making a new frame. So that's rolling shutter 101 there, I think. Wow, GUFON, watch the Out There channel, you could learn this. Google rolling shutter and moving the camera at the same time, and fast moving objects, and that's typical what you get, where you get the image being doubled up. You know, that's why you get the rod effect, where the flapping wings and it makes that sort of funny wavy pattern. It's because the insect is just beating the rolling shutter speed on the camera, and you get multiple images of the same thing, like it's like a long exposure, right? But you got to understand camera technology to be able to pull apart a whole video like this. It's quite complex. You think it's a bird? Looks like it's flapping. Yeah, okay. I think it's a bird too, but we have to prove it. Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that's going to switch off and say, nah, that's a UFO. So let's keep on going. Just the fact that that curvature is happening, and of course it looks like it's going fast, but it's parallaxed as well. So that's a parallax effect, so that's another artifact. But the curvature would match if the camera was moving and the object was stationary as well, wouldn't it? And it's closer to the camera. But it also would match a bird flying around on a curve coming down. He's a baby. He's a baby, this guy.
That is just bizarre. I don't like this now.
I think you're right. I think I can see flapping every so often. I think it's gliding on the wind coming downwards. And every so often you can see the flap happening.
Now I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's rolling shutter.
Something's wrong.
Joins up. Rolling shutter no more.
Something's wrong with...
Looks like it is blinking in the way where it's flapping, isn't it? It's sort of flapped quite a bit where it's turning.
It's too...
And someone said before this they could see other birds, white birds flying around. So where there's one rule number 1 is, if you see one bird, there's bound to be another bird, because they flock together, right?
Too good to be true. First of all, faking a UFO video is one thing.
Alright, so as he's talking about faking there, I actually did pick up something on my security camera. It's a good example of birds. It's broad daylight. I'll just bring it up. Might go on the wrong screen. Oh no. I might have to make it bigger. See if we can spot the UFOs. Yeah, there you go. Didn't that look like the video? Didn't it look like what we just saw? And you can see the curvature that was happening. I thought, damn, that's a great capture. Boom, look how fast they're going. Birds can't fly that fast. Well, those ones certainly can. It's just like the video at the Queen's Jubilee. I don't know if I can pause it in time. It's going so fast. I think they're flying down here at the moment. Here they come. They seem to be attacking another bird. Look how blurry it is. And that's the problem with security cameras. Ghost birds, right? Boom. They are moving, those birds. I don't know what speed they're doing, but it looks like 100 miles an hour. But you can see the natural curve happening. Can we even see one? Can't, can you? There might be a frame there. Maybe I'll step through it. It's quite a good example though. That's why I wanted to keep it. Can we step on AF files? I'm not sure. I wish it would have a frame counter thing come up on it. Coming up now, I think. Here we go. Got one. Okay, what's it doing? Just flying over above the yeah, I don't think it's doing a frame forward on this format. ASF, that's a pretty old format, isn't it? Maybe I have to convert it to oh, actually, it's MP3 4 player that we're using. I don't think it uses the same key for forwards. Let me see. That won't help, will it? Okay, what else we got? Is it another step function? Frame step control right. That's going to cause problems. I think my magnifier is using that. Control plus right. Right what? Right key? Cursor key. Oh, I go and clicked on it now. Let's see if I can run it on VLC. I think VLC had problems with it, that's why I used the other player. Open with. Because it's on the wrong screen. Oh yeah, it's playing now. It's a wee bit slower. Oh. Oh. There you go, that was really good. It's even bigger. I see. Then we can probably step it. It's a wee bit better, isn't it? Coming now. There we go. Let's see what happens. Can we even see that the birds? We know the birds by the motion, right? There's one coming behind now. One going up. So what would that be? One, two, it'd be like 5 frames a second, is it? Because that makes a difference. It's not full speed. So that's the problem with we're missing bits in between. You can see there was nowhere there we could see a whole bird because the camera's just not good enough. But it's good enough to see a person coming to the door to ring a doorbell. But on fast moving bugs and birds and water droplets, it's just hopeless. But yeah, that's pretty good. So I just wanted to keep that to show you on this one, exactly the same situation we got. Now, Lions Ground, he's renamed his channel Astro something, Citizen. he's put out a debunk saying it's a balloon. But I have to be in disagreement with him because of the wind factor. He hasn't researched it properly, I don't think. And because it has a sort of round orb shape, doesn't mean it's not motion blur and a bird. I'm right. Hey, someone agrees with me. Oh, we only got one watcher. I did look at it. Like it, yeah. Okay.
This isn't. This is from a news source, right? So apparently it's from them. And if somebody got a hold of this video, for them to think of putting two UFOs together like that, that is something I would never think about if I was a hoaxer. That just seems weird.
So he's totally doesn't understand roll and shutter. It happens there when the camera's moving, and the rest of it is not stretched. You can see the video is not stretched there, so we're back to normal. So the camera moved when the bird split, basically.
So it makes you wonder, how legit is this footage? It's supposed to be legit.
It's definitely 100% legit.
It is odd, though, that there's two. And I'm wondering if it's because it's too far away for the camera to focus right, and it's...
No, see, he doesn't understand cameras. So, this is me attacking him, by the way. That's me pointing out he's not a trusted debunker. He keeps saying he's not an expert, remember? Remember when we were going on about it, and he's not an expert because he doesn't understand basic camera artifacts. Well, here's just another example. So yeah, let's get rid of him. Let's see if we can find some better videos. This one's a very interesting case too. I was going to have a look at this one. Wherever I get time to. How are we going for time? Live research and debunking. 2 hours already, is it? Man, oh man. Okay. So third phase may have done some zoom-ins. Who else has got the original video? Okay. I've lost my setup on the other screen. There we go. Back to normal. Okay, so so we've got two videos here. Which one's got it? Oh, here we go. Probably both of them. Oh no, that one's the full movie, isn't it? Battlefield, what is it called? Battle Earth Battalion. I don't know, what was it called? Where they're using mine to make goats. The man talks to goats, you know, they're trying to get it to stop its heart by thinking about it. So this must be the Queen one, because I can see some clips here. So let's have a look at these again.
Let's just go down the rabbit hole here for a second. Let's just assume this is...
Okay. They're in the rabbit hole, that's for sure.
And we want to make sure we want to get you, the people, in here. Let me just copy paste this.
Okay.
Appreciate the super stick.
Okay, that's not the UAP footage. Oh, I did a I breathe in too fast and my nostrils went in.
The $4.99 super chat really helps. Appreciate it.
Okay, what are we looking at here, skydivers? What's this one?
Well, according to Kevin Day, he says there was a swarm of UFOs.
That kind of looks like flare drops.
And that's interesting as we're looking at this. Does Kevin Day have something to say about this sighting? I have to say it is interesting. It definitely looks like a swarm of them out there. The question is it military in nature? Could these be...
Is it military flares in nature?
Just the military flares.
See, I can always read his mind.
Let's get a good look at it right here.
I said it was flares before he even said. Looks like the video's been mixed around with, like it's sort of been sped up, hasn't it? Went out. So that's typical flares. Yeah, let's just move on. Whereabouts is it at the moment? That looks like it's over Ukraine, is it? Whereabouts did he say it was? It looks like sandstorm there, doesn't it? Could be fires from burning buildings, I guess. But
just bring this up.
Okay, it has got some red tinge in it.
See that?
Oh, right.
They're flashed all in sequence there.
I think that the gang is rolling shutter. The guy moved his camera.
Sequence. Is that a fluctuation of the...
May have moved the camera just slightly and the rolling shutter doubled up.
Camera itself or...
Yeah, look, double up. Motion blur there.
I did a still image on it when they were all in sync at the one moment of time where they're flashing.
Okay, so if they're not experts, why are they trying to analyze it? They should just put up the video and say, it's up to you guys, we ain't going to say anything about it. And we got permission to share this video from this guy's channel. I don't know if they even post the links to original sources anymore, because they wrote about me debunking it, and other people, of course. Doesn't seem to be any source links there, does it? So it could be recycled footage from 10 years ago. So it makes it really hard to do a Google search and find any current events over this area. Anyway, I want to go back to finding that. What else they got here? I suppose we better quickly go through it. Hey, looks like a kid wearing a animal mask, doesn't it? Or possibly an Indian dancing with a wolf head. The sort of thing they used to do, isn't it? And it looks like it's a still going on a security camera. In fact, it looks like it's been taken from... Look at the pattern there. See that? That's typical of a photograph that's been printed on paper. See that effect? There we go. Or it could be a wire fence. Is that a wire fence? Oh, right, it's a wire fence. I will correct that mistake. It's a wire fence. Where's the wire fence end, though? So that's going to alter the image quite a bit. So wire fence and someone's... Looks like someone in a suit. And I suppose we ain't going to see a video of it. They never zoom in and analyze it like I do. But yeah, when you see a image that's sort of been photographed off a newspaper or something like that, magazine, you actually see these little circular pixels where it's been like printed on with ink.
So there it is. I'm going to get a little closer look at this. We'll zoom it in. Actually, the photograph is pretty high quality. Where
I might just turn them down a bit.
Especially in night vision. And it's a security camera. Usually those are pretty low in quality, but when we're looking at this thing, I can see why they call it the dog man. More like maybe a dog kid.
Okay, so straight away, going down the dark side, it can't possibly be someone pranking a security guard.
Or dog child. It's not too large. It's not too menacing, and it could just be anything. Guys, I want to get your opinions. Have you guys ever seen the dog man? I hear that people actually have said that they've seen him, but we don't really have much really solid evidence of its existence.
Looks a bit pruny for a dogman. Dogman is meant to be a solid Bigfoot-like creature. Some suggest maybe the military had tried to splice DNA with canine, and it escaped into the wild, and they haven't managed to catch it still. So that's a possibility. I don't think there's been two sighted together. This is a problem with Bigfoot and Dogman. Often you only see one of them. But Expedition Bigfoot, which we're going to talk about next, it does seem like they were surrounded and there was multiple ones throwing stones at them at some stage, but again, it's never been sighted that's two on camera.
And I'm not calling this groundbreaking by any means. I just kind of wanted to share it with you. Again, I just dropped in the chat. If you guys want to join us, there's a link, the StreamYard link, and you guys could all chime in there.
Yeah, I bet I can't. I'd be in the waiting room forever. But anyway, let's get on. Okay, there's that one I was talking about. What was his name? Gabba Beast TV. That's I was talking about how Tyler was using this search helicopter, a spotlight helicopter, that was in China, and saying it was in France when it wasn't. So this is recycled footage, years and years old. Okay, so that's long exposure, 20 seconds of a helicopter. I think it is.
And again, if this was random, which we just showed you, then...
Yeah, like UFOs, like long bendy craft to fly in, you know. When you hear about cigar shape and cylinder UFOs, they're not bendy like a banana. And you can see the segments in this where the long exposure of the thing moving. See that you got dots above. One indication there, and you can see each of those would be a second. And if you look at that there, you can start to see the spotlight is brighter strip, and it's in segments as well. You can see one sort of wave goes up and down if you look at the edge. And look, we even got a collision avoidance light that's lit up there. So that could be what that is there as well. Collision avoidance lights. Looks like the tail fin of the rotor, doesn't it? Why doesn't it show up there, though, you ask? I can see a blue tinge to it there too. So there's a blue light. And you got the beam going down. Yeah, it looks like a rotor fin with a red light blinking. It looks like it's through there though. You can see there is a sort of like a red smudge that follows behind all along the top there. But you can see the background also has a lot of red in it. Why, I don't know. So that sort of helps mask what it is. Might be because the angle of the helicopter was heading more towards us here, that's why it's bending. And you can't quite see the red light as much, and then it sort of gets side on. Now you're seeing the tail light. And then it's bending away again, so that's why you get that banana shape. This is a fun thing with cameras.
Why does it look so similar to China, and why we don't see these kind of sightings on a regular basis? I think people would be submitting these kind of photos if it was just a random phenomenon like a lens flare. But these are kind of interesting, especially with the streak and how this was touted by ABC News 11 years ago. Look it up, China UFO, ABC News.
And Tyler called it France. I think one of them was in Australia. It was like a search helicopter around a beach. But these are all in China, helicopter long exposure.
YouTube 2011.
So why are they recycling 11 old footage again? It's already been debunked. And these guys know exactly what it is. Just padding out the episodes for a live show, is it? Yeah.
Did on some kind of military exercise, but they never explained. It was live while it went effects.
Yeah, we've got to get back to the British one. Here we go.
Think about. But then I'm also taking in consideration if this is an infinity focus, and if it is, then everything will be in clarity.
Okay, so they got it zoomed in at least. Okay, this so it's definitely over top of the smoke trail, isn't it? You can see there's a different colour white. Ah, look, it changed shape from a ball shape to a triangle shape there. And it's not quite a ball shape there. It's changing into a square shape now, because we got some motion blur, I think. Look, it looks like it's flapping wings there, isn't it? There you go. There's a bird shape right there. It's changing angle to us. Instead of flying straight, it's now trying to flap and go away from us again. It's going into a headwind now, remember? There you go, triangle shape, typical bird. 100% bird. Do I really need to zoom that in and editor and enhance it? I don't know how Lionsground could say that was a party balloon. That's just ridiculous. I would expect that to maintain more of the oval shape. Maybe stretch it but still have the curvature going on. What do you reckon, Mr. G? The table's creaking. We'll have to tighten up the screws on it again. Yeah. I don't think it's worth running it through filters actually. I think that little video zoomed in was good enough to see it changing shapes, which is classic of a bunch of balloons, which it wasn't clearly a bunch of balloons. It would have to be one, or biological bug or bird. So I'm saying it's birds. Okay, what have we got? Here we go. We've got another version of it. Does that look like a balloon? No, it looks like a bird with camera artifacts and motion blur. Oh, there you go, look. Flapping, flapping, flapping. Flap, 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 flap. Slowing down, maybe. It's angled upwards. Flap, flap, flap. Flappy, flappy. And you can see the blocks around. You see we're getting down to pixel level here, right? So we ain't going to see much detail, just like the security camera I showed you off our house earlier. And it's above the cloud. You can see it's sort of blending over top of it, off the smoke trail. So it's definitely not going through the smoke. It's not going behind it. Look at that artifact there. It's a square blob now. Yeah, not a balloon. Not a balloon. If anyone says it's a balloon, they haven't analysed it properly. But it was on our top list. You just got to sort of move things up as we look at it.
Some kind of UFO. This is interesting where the children are looking up, and I'm not sure if they're looking up at obviously they're looking up at the jets, but there's a reaction by the kid. He's like, whoa, look at that. Is that a UFO? Maybe, or he may have seen it. If it was that close to the audience there, or close to the jets, I can imagine that.
I can't believe this is made.
Seen it on the ground right there.
It's made all the newspapers and TV channels apparently. Not to watch TV news anymore because it's just fake news. But yeah, this guy can talk garbage all day long about it, and me, I analyze it and break it down. That's the difference.
All right, we got
look at the smirky face on him. What bullshit should I say next? So it doesn't sound like their last video, but if you analysed all the videos, they say the same thing. If you get a video that's got a similar thing, right?
got some people coming in.
That's a bird flapping its wings and gliding on the air currents. Or trying to, but it's going into the headwind now, so it's got to flap more. When it was coming down the other way, I think it was gliding. When it's turned, I think you can see it distort there. That's where it's flapping into the wind. Now it's sort of fighting that headwind, which is only like 2 to 7 knots. And of course you can see it's come down quite low. So it might have the buildings blocking the wind, so yeah, he might be getting thermals from the hot buildings below there. So this is a problem. We haven't actually got any weather balloons at all these different locations to see how the wind is maybe vortexing or whatever. But that's why balloons can actually look like they're going against the wind. Like I said, it could be an RC balloon, but analysing that footage there, it looked like flapping.
Remember, when we bring people on, we want to have the audio all good, and again, maybe some kind of profile, or so we know that it's just not some kind of, who knows, we get a lot of people, and this is a public forum, but we want to see some kind of proof that you're a person with maybe a thumbnail or some design on your artwork, instead of just kind of maybe a vague random.
Maybe I should go on their live show sometime and see if they'll let me on to talk.
No profile kind of person. We want to see some.
Well, they've blocked my comments, so I guess I'm blocked from their super chat too, or side chats.
Maybe that.
But if it's a link to what is it they use? What was it? StreamYards. I will not be blocked on there.
You had put some effort into the field or your profile on social media. Wow, we got a really cool super sticker. Let's bring this in. Nathaniel Jordan, appreciate the.
So yeah, we can't say that's a really strong headwind against the bird. So it could be that the air currents there I actually lifted it up again and it's gliding along too, and it kind of looks like a balloon that's gliding along. So yeah, it can be really hard and tricky to analyze these, but you can say definitely it's not a UFO alien craft regardless of what it is. Just say it's a blurfo. BLURFO, because that's what it is.
900 watchers right now live. That's awesome, guys. This is...
Yeah, I got one, Mr. G. Well, actually, you might have two. We got a lurker.
Great doing this, guys.
No, that's a bird. Considering there was white birds filmed prior to it, someone's got it posted on Twitter, where someone took a snapshot and you can see the white bird flying up to a lamppost. Or a different angle of the event. And they're saying it's not the same object. Well, obviously, if it's a white bird further down, then there's going to be a white bird further up as well.
Anubis, huh? Rough journalism. What's he saying? Rough journalism in the... Oh, we got
this back that up what I just said about the birds. Maybe someone's posted more information. Where's my channel? Twitter, there. So I posted this last night. Looks like it caused a bit of disturbance in the force. I got so many people commenting on it. Haven't bothered reading what they're saying. What's the saying? Birds flock together. Some say it's balloon, but 7 knot wind against it. Unless it's tethered. Some say it's not moving, just illusion. I will analyze it tomorrow. So we need to click on that one and go upwards. There was a different video that Harrison shared in another thread that clear enough to show flapping wings, but the point of view is on the ground rather than from a helicopter, which is what we're currently looking at, is it? No way you claimed it's going through smoke. Rule number one, if there's oh, looks like I lost off the E. One bird, there's going to be others flying with it too. Two objects seem to fly and meet up like birds do. Okay, so where's this footage that someone's got here, I think? Air show orb. No, that's not it. Not the same object. It's saying, oh, here we go. Something from the ground view. Okay, so we got white objects, which looks very much like we just watched. Okay. So for it's further away and more pixelated. And there might even be some other white blobs. In fact, is that the underneath side on the other side of the air formation? I think it is, isn't it? Wasn't the blue going the other way? Where's the picture? There it is. Blue's at the bottom. So this is from the other side. Could that be the same object? I don't think so. And the other object's got to be above the smoke, in front of the smoke cloud the other way. So there you go. There's another bird. So it's got to be a bird, isn't it? Doesn't fly through the jet smoke. We can see it was clearly over top of it when we zoomed in, frame by frame. If it was behind it, it should have almost disappeared, right? It should have just vanished. You could see it clearly on every step of the frame that it was above the smoke. Anyway, I think we've done our dash on that one. Can I do this stuff so much? So what they saying here? Fight, fight, fight. Also, balloons wouldn't move straight through turbulence. I look forward to seeing what you find. Okay, so it didn't actually go through the turbulence, and we got no way of knowing how close to the smoke trail is on 2D camera. Unless you got multiple cameras fixed on the same object, then you probably could run some mathematics like Mick West does, with his team of researchers on his channel, and he'll work out exactly how big it is and how fast it's moving. But that's not the sort of stuff that I want to do. To go into the deep end, I call that. That's called proving it beyond doubt. To the skeptics. I'll keep that rule in mind when it comes to solo birds. Well, solo birds get lonely. There's a different video. Okay, I read that one before. Okay, so I think we're up to date now on that. See, some people talk to me on Twitter. Not many though. So we're done with that one. We've got people on talking about it. Let's have a listen to what these eggheads have to say.
Point, if it is closer to the camera, that's all what needs to be figured out in math, I think. And I think it could be. And that's maybe we need to break.
That's what I was saying about McWest and math, right?
Break down this video.
But you need two camera angles on the same object.
I think it's interesting that we're all going over this at the same time, and I like that. Yeah. And again,
yeah, you like it on your channel so it gets you money.
We're just kind of like, we don't have the answers, right? We can't.
It's just the amount of time that thing stays in frame, because I work with camera.
So that bird, as you saw how fast it was moving on my security camera, that's actually going a lot slower than my security camera ones. And they're saying it's going fast, and it's not.
Equipment all the time. I have my own channel. I have two very pictures of a very big object. We had a translucent object fly. I take pictures of a live stream my pasture just because it's pretty, and never see anything really cool. I saw a translucent object fly over the top of my head, and I have my camera out. I'm taking pictures. All I got was, these two frames, and this object. It looks like a dot, but that's all I could see. And we have the water tower for a reference.
I'm not seeing anything on that. And it looks like he's filming his screen there, doesn't it? His mobile phone with another camera. So these people don't have a clue. So, if you're doing that quality of work, makes you wonder what he saw. Now, I've been outside at night time and I saw the star moving around. And I thought, oh, that's a UFO. But when I just stood there, I realised it was actually an ice layer drifting across over top of my head. And the light from that star was shining through those ice crystals, and it was making it bend the light. And it looked like it was moving a foot all around, and going all in different directions. That's what he saw. He may, even though it's daytime, he may have seen the clouds pass over top of this ice crystal layer, which is invisible, and distorting all the light coming from the clouds to the camera. But yeah, we do know that there's possibly cloaking ships though. So it's hard to know without actually looking at that footage properly.
And we have another picture right here where it was further away, and these were taken. I got the properties. These were taken, you know, in a minute frame. It was a minute frame apart. You know, because it only goes down, or it goes down to a second, you know, and
goes down to a second, but it's a minute frame.
And there's no change in that, and it's so hard to like get your story across because I've never seen anything like it. It was translucent, and I only got 2 pictures of it.
Yeah, so what's that got to do with what we're looking at, though? Let's move on.
Mine's around, and this gives us scale and size. So, again, it was a great discussion, guys. Appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah, Blake obviously was trying to get it back to the topic.
Rough journalism. It's first time
sir. Thank you.
we've seen you there on YouTube for a long time, and never met. Never faced
Oh,
I got
my stomach's grumbling. Feeling a wee bit sick.
But yeah, I've been doing that for a while. It first started off as looking at imagery coming in like on satellites and stuff like that, and then transferring it over. So I've done work with the NRO. I've done work with various agencies and across the board. So, but
he's on the 3rd phase of the moon, so anything he has to say is redundant. Unless he's trying to correct their mistakes.
to find me, I'm easy to find. Just find 5x5 News up on YouTube or on Twitter and chat with.
So he's obviously on there to plug himself right. Trying to Blair hasn't kicked him off.
Let me know what I love being able to talk to you guys. It is awesome to get past some of that stigma that persists.
Stigma, what them being hoaxers, mate. So obviously he's trying to another grifter that's trying to build up his UFO channel by using Blake Cousins.
And this is good. This is good.
Appreciate it so much, and it's interesting because there is a lot of talk, and we've seen a lot of people, and it's great to see them on 3rd phase of the moon and discuss the topic in real time. There's something to say about it, and I think we had a really good discussion. We don't have the answers. We're
so how long have we done this for? I got this other video to look at. What is it? 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I suppose we've got enough time. As long as I don't get too sick. I might have to go and eat some toast or something. Okay, so we're done with the British one. God save the Queen. Okay. And of course that one's talking about the men stares at goats. So I wonder why they've released that full video now. CIA program. Insiders tell. So because they're on 3rd phase, puts it straight off me wasting my time on it. So yeah, I'll pass. Normally I'd watch a documentary, but anything that Blake Cousins got his hands on. So there's a lot of talk about this one here. What year did that happen? Was it this year? Niagara Falls UFO case. Have you heard about this one, Mr. G? Okay, so they got a bridge. It's a little water vapor in the air, I can see. Near the lakes, which makes sense. Dave Altman, he's the one that said stop attacking them. Wasn't. He misunderstood. Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies BASS and the Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications Program. Americans like their terminologies. The precursor to ATIP, main hot topics due to surge in UFO coverage. Since 2017, any time a light can be shown on cases best investigated, it's important for historic records. SliviaRecord.com has been able to confirm a Niagara Falls UFO incident. I keep reading that as Nigeria. Niagara incident best investigated. However, the information is limited. Okay. What we know, multiple witnesses saw an unknown object in the sky. The object was recorded from multiple angles. Best investigators were dispatched to the area. Several videos were collected. You want to give them copies, as you'll never get it back. You not heard of this one before? Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. This one could be actually a legit case. The case was forwarded to SAP, blah blah blah. Since this was a public case, a quick internet search turned up these videos that night, matched some of the videos that could have been collected. So we're not seeing the full evidence. Whether these are actual videos from the case or videos that Bass collected is not known. So that's pretty bad. So let's have a look at it. First one.
It's gonna fall right on the spicy olive tonight.
Thank you very much. Oh, we're going right in here. Awesome.
Do you see a UFO? Do you see a UFO there? Okay. There's a lot of people celebrating or something. Is it being filmed through a window? See, we're not too sure on the circumstances. We haven't got the people being interviewed. How they're filming it. It's in the browser, which is gets rid of our controls that we normally got. There is a pulsing bright light there.
I don't know what that is, but it's not moving, and it's reflecting off of it.
Okay, come on.
Okay, what's reflecting off it? That looks like a spotlight going upwards.
It's gonna fall
spotlight
right on the spicy olive tonight.
Thank you very much. Oh, we're going right in here. Awesome. I got a video already.
Yeah, we're going.
Sucky video phone camera. It hasn't got really good light sensitivity at all.
That's on the blimp.
But what's lighting it up? I'm not seeing a beam of light, but there might be. Might be like a spotlight they got going on top of a restaurant.
I don't know what that is, but it's not moving, and it's
what's that there? Going up there though. So I'll probably have to run that through some filters.
reflecting off of it.
Okay, come on. I'm getting freaked out.
Now if it's through a window, maybe there's something on top of a building where they've got spotlights going back and forth, but then we need to see a daytime shot of that angle. So there's like a high rise here, and it's got spotlights in all the corners shining, moving around. There may be like a water tower there. It looks like something there. And it sometimes hits it and reflects the light back. It's not exactly moving. So did everybody see what they're saying? Is everybody saw the same UFO that was just stationary in the sky? See, that I don't know, because there wasn't much in the article. Okay, we got some other videos here. So let's have a look at the next one. What are we saying? More Lester. We already know your name, address, job, and history. End stream now. No. I've been sent by Big Tech. Stop the stream. Very funny. Okay, so let's carry on. So what is it? A mix of all different video sources? Source 1. Source 3. Where's 2? Might have to open it up. Okay, Lester, you had your fun. Move along now. Okay, let's have a look at YouTube directly. I got more control. Okay, so we got a building this time. Okay, and look at all the spotlights on it. Looks like the top of a building of some kind, doesn't it? What's going on? Really weird. So he had the phone angled up and it was filming a building. Now where are we going? Oh, look at that big spotlight there. Looks very commercialized there for tourists, doesn't it? Okay, we got a lot of lens flare, big mask lights. Looks like an entrance to a theme park, which would have spotlights. Do they have blimps or stuff floating around? It looks like the spotlight's happening there. Okay, and it does look like it's reflecting off something occasionally. There. But it could be anything. Could be an RC drone they've got with advertising on it. Did they interview the theme park people? Is it just repeating? Okay, what else we got? Let's go back. Yeah. So small. I'll just make it bigger here. Okay, so we've got multiple sources of the spotlight. So there's something there. What is it though? Does it look like a hovering flying saucer with windows? Why is it over a theme park? You know, that's kind of suspicious straight away to me. Could be one of those really high poles that they have around the place. where they have cables coming down. I need to see a daytime shot. Maybe that's what we have to do. It's funny how they got the beams of light hidden towards it. So that's intentional. And it's repeating the same frequency. So they're not actually aiming those at the objects like LA. Battle for LA. So that means they know what it's there. And then we got some other angles. How about this one over here? What's this one doing? Exactly the same. Not as good quality. Okay. So we need to find out some daytime stuff, don't we? To me, I was saying it's natural. I think it's going to be some sort of part of the theme park. Okay, we've got this one here. Number 3. I'll just open it up properly. Okay, we've got the beams. We know the beam lights going back and forth.
Up there, dude. What the
Okay, looks like the same sort of.
fuck? What the fuck is that? Look
Is it
straight
more?
up, dude.
Looks like it might be 4 beams of
Watch
light.
the spotlights. I'll tell you when to look. It shines back at you. Really? Ha!
But he's got to swear.
Is that?
He's got to swear.
That, homie? No shit, me.
Sorry guys, I didn't realise it was going to
Dude,
swear.
welcome to the club.
Is it like fucking something hovering up that it's shining off?
Yeah.
Which is maybe very suspicious that they've got beams of light that's organised to shine on it. In fact, it looks like a cable. So this would be a good one to get. It looks like a cable running through here, doesn't it? I reckon it's a high mast light of some kind. Maybe it's got cameras up there or some sort of ride. Okay, let's I'll grab some snaps. Snap, crackle and pop. Let's see what we can see. So I've gone from saying this could be a legit one, since some of the big government agencies have been involved in it. But we know how good they are at their own analysis. Can't detect birds or balloons, so let's do it ourselves and see what we get. Alright, I got all the. I haven't even done that yet. I'll have to do that. I have to do the Bigfoot stuff. Let's just finish up on this one. I thought. Oh, we've got another hour we probably can do if we need to. Oh, that's very strange. That's not happened before. Ah, that's not our. Must have selected the wrong thing. Hang on, let me just try that again. It looks very similar to the program, but it's not the same. My eyes are gone. Open with. The font's a wee bit small. Paint.net. Ah, that's better. Yeah. Let's see what pops out in the filters. Maybe that was the worst place to do it. Where the beams are far apart, not close together. But let's just run it through that one. We got brightness. Okay. So we can start to see the beams and how pixelated it is, grainy. But it does look like a line going up here. See that? Even on the brightness layer here. It's a little fine line that seems to be running up here. So let's just reset it. And let's change some of those blacks to different colours with colour swap. Flip hue. Okay, let's try that first. So we can just see all the different blacks and whites now. So there's that line going up. Can we see a tower? Like something coming down. It certainly looks like a line going this way, so it could be one of those suspension lines going across here, and they got some high mast lights that are not turned on for some reason. Maybe they have some like scrolling text that happens, but then like welcome or such and such event, which is not currently active that night. Just look like there is some light sources here though. Looks like another line going up here though, doesn't it? Line going through there. Line going through there. So we need to it's a funny shape there happening. But again we can see that black line going up here. And in this one we can see that it looks like a white line. It's being illuminated. Also looks like another line going this way. So would it be something like a type? I wonder what it is. You know those guys with the poles, tightrope people. Maybe it's some sort of day event they have. And these things here might be where supporting cables come across, right? You know what I mean? So we need to find if they've got a tightrope feature at that theme park. So let's just draw on what I'm saying. So I reckon looks like a line going that way. Looks like a line going that way. Possibly a line going through. That looks very much like a tightrope thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's do a search. I'm not sure how you spell it though. Rope event Niagara. So, There we go, someone walks over Niagara Falls. Tightrope Walker, 2012. Theodore crosses. Been censored by A&E. Stuff you W's. Daredevil. Simonian. Was it? Okay. So that's 2012, was it? Kind of looks like ancient times, doesn't it? So could it be some new event? That one doesn't look like 2012, does it? Okay, so whereabouts is the bridge? So it's close to the bridge. So they've got it going from one side of the valley to the bridge, is it? On the other side? Okay, let's have a look again. So what they say in here. With the release of this blog, investigators and debunkers will pour over the information. Yes, we are. It's really lacking though. The videos included are blurry. Yes, and SoliviaVehicle.com makes no assertions, which means they could have faked it. They are non-human intelligence, or legitimate UFOs. Since this was a known case, not just necessary bass involvement was known, more information should be available publicly, and as the UFO community shares information, this blog will be updated. So how long has it been around? June 2022. So it could be reflection and glass. Maybe they've got some glass over. I don't know, it's a bit hard. We need to see some daytime footage. So that tightrope was happening from somewhere over here, crossing this way, wasn't it? So where's the theme park? Out here. Is that the theme park there? Oh, looks like it, doesn't it? See, I've never been there, so I'm totally void of what's really there. What's that there? End of the bridge going somewhere there. It looks like a stadium. Other than that, hard to tell. What's that there? Is that a viewing platform? What's that? Boat? What the hell is that thing? More questions than answers. And what we got down here? Looks like another place for events, for boat trips, all sorts. Up and down the river. I can't see no cables, but it's not the best of video. There could be a cable there, I just can't see it. Certainly some high mast lights there on the highway. So probably need to look on Google Earth, don't we? So might have to come back to this one another time. To me, it's not looking really promising. It looks like there's something. High mast lights, cables going to it. That's what it looks like. Let's just do a search on that and bring up some maps. Okay, let's looking down now. Embassy, Cousin Valley. My cousin Vinny, I mean. Barbecue. Oop. Looks like my magnifier is screwed up. Hang on. Just restart it. That's zooming on the web page, I think. It still is. Shouldn't be doing that. Maybe it should. I don't know. Yeah, I've lost it now. I've lost my place. Let's reload it. It's too big. Man, I didn't realize how big it is. So where's the bridge on this? Canada. There's a lot of farmland there. All the little blocks of green, which is you'd expect near a water supply anyway. Oh, here we go. So that must be the bridge, is it? No, it can't be. Hamilton, where's that? Yeah, I've totally lost my way now. Hamilton, Detroit. That's up this way. It must be. Yeah, normally it was going from one lake to the other, wasn't it? What's all that up the top here? Attraction, hotels, parking, ATMs. Has it got theme parks? Nope. They'll probably need to do street view and all that, wouldn't we? Looks like this is a big research project. Okay, what have we got here? That's the waterfalls. Is that lines going across here? What's that there going across? Could it be layers of rock and cables? So it's got to be here. That's where the marker is. So Niagara Falls. Ah, okay. Oh, it's happened. Might be able to see it now. Now we got the appearance. Yeah, a lot of motorway around it. United States, Canada. Power station. Oh, that would be a lot of power lines. And that was what Tesla was mucking around with, wasn't it? So there's got to be a lot of overhead power lines. And yet we're not going to be able to see it, I don't think. So where were they standing when they were filming? It looked like some theme park, but we didn't see the name of it. Convention Center. Can't fit in. What's that there? Casino. Now casinos generally have stuff with spotlights and stuff that goes up on high mast lights, where they have like these machines that drop people downwards really quickly and then slows them down. So could it be something like that? We need to drop down to street view really. Okay. It's going to take us ages to go through this, but eventually we're going to pin it. Here we go. High mass over that way. Flagpoles. And that's the sort of thing you'd have spotlights going back and forth highlighting the flags, right? Can we go that way? Aha! What's this thing here? Ah, cranes! Yeah. Is it cranes I just saw? Oh no, it's these really high mass flagpoles, is it? I thought I saw cranes. Okay, so could it be spotlights going towards that? What's that thing called? Restaurant UFO. Why can't we see it in the video? We did see some lights on it, so that would be like glass windows, wouldn't it? Okay. Good night, Mr. G. I'm not You have to watch the Bigfoot stuff later then. Or I save it for the next live show. Like I said, we just don't know where it's going to go with life debunks or life analysis. We spend too long on things trying to really suss it out. I find it fascinating just having a look around these places because you can't get there because of money. It won't allow us to go any further. It's got an arrow going, as I say, this way. Damn it. So we might have to give up on that. So what is that place called though? Let's see if we can find it. It looks like a restaurant, doesn't it? With the beams going back and forth. Restaurant. I suppose I can wrap up on this one now. Because we ain't got enough information. Restaurant. Tower. Niagara. See what comes up. Revolving dinner room. Where? Well, it sounds like what we were looking at. Skyline Tower. Where? I suppose these views are from it rather than looking at it. Summit Soup Buffet, no. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Skyline Tower. So they got a couple there actually, but let's look. And that's the one we're looking at. I think. The spotlight's down below, look. Why did they have most of the lights off it though? Was there a power cut maybe? Well, there's got to be more to the story. What's this one? This one's different. Wasn't it doing it? Where's the website? Haven't got really good star ratings though, have they? Fine dining. Well, there's that one there. I think they're two different towers. You got the sky long one. Yep. Here we go. That's more in the dark. Summit Soup Buffet. That looks like more like it. It's got spotlights. Okay, I'm going to just say this is a revolving restaurant on that one. Unless more information comes to light. Where can we see the post in the... it looked like it was cables, but doesn't mean there wasn't cables lower to where their position was above them. Okay, let's just yeah, it's just not there's not enough stuff there, is it? So we're looking at A restaurant. Something like that there. With the spotlights coming back and forth. Okay, so we'll leave on that one. I could be wrong, but till more information, we might update it. I'll post a link to it anyway. You guys can investigate it more yourself. Niagara UFO. It's the sort of thing Mick West should be doing. Working out the angles. So how come I can't see these restaurants here? So they're going to be further back then. I just can't see any of these UFO revolving towers. So it's going to be maybe this side. Maybe they're taking a picture from the restaurant to get this image, which is probably more the case. But it could be a drone footage, couldn't it? But anyway, interesting. We'll see what comes up in future on that case. I think it was a mothership or a UFO just hovering above there. More people would be taking notes, but it makes sense that tourists are not used to seeing these buildings there for the first night, not realizing it's a restaurant tower. May think it's a UFO. So lastly, Bigfoot. I'll just summarize. I got some snapshots. Talk about it. Okay, open up that first one. So what's interesting is this guy had these little sensors. Looks like stuff you hang on your Christmas tree. Has little spiky bits on it, and actually has a GPS tracker on it. So you can see the battery is going to be very small in that. So when a animal comes by, the prickly things get stuck in the fur, and it takes off of it. So they can track down the animal. In this case, they're using it for Bigfoots. Now, what happened is something did grab it on the fur, and they were tracking it. Eventually, they lose signal, and then they camp, and then the signal comes back to them, saying that that's the Bigfoot coming back to check on them. And there it is there on the ground, with the prickly bits, and apparently, he seems into it. Not very good though. Showing some fur that's hanging on it. So they may have some physical evidence, but he says it's too high where he hung it. It's too high up for a normal bear. But you can see it's coming up to his belly button there. He reckons that's too bare on 4 paws, but bears, as we know, can stand up for a temporary and then drop back down like a dog can. So I'm not too sure how accurate him saying that's more likely to be a Bigfoot, because it's not up high enough in my book. And of course, people have said, a lot of the stories is that the Bigfoot actually may be wearing fur of other animals. And you know how all these findings come back, bear fiber. Well, maybe they've killed a bear and made a suit out of it that they put on. It makes them look bigger, but also gives them thermal camouflage from thermal cameras. Remember, we're talking about the ghillie suit, which is very similar to what a scruffy Bigfoot would be. It can actually be invisible to thermal cameras, IR cameras. So yeah, makes sense that they would wear bear clothing even if they got their own fur over top. There's like camouflage from thermal hunters, and confuse people if they lose fur. So I'll just move on through the slides here. Now, what happened next? The other team of people. Here, helicopter. You know, they talk about these black helicopters showing up from nowhere when they actually get sightings of orb lights around Bigfoots. Did the helicopters show up? So they're wondering what's going on. And here's a picture of the helicopter. And there you go. You got the tail fin with the blinking lights. And you got the big spotlight at the front. And you can see, but like the last video we looked at, all that light's not illuminating the structure of the craft at all, or the building, and like in the last video. So that's a good example. And they got top of line video cameras and all that, not just smartphones. So back at head office, this guy here, the chief, has got a LCD screen that he's looking at, and suddenly they get power cut. Did we just lose power? And so he goes outside and checks out his what do you call it, static cameras that they got on trees. What do they call those, deer cameras or whatever, and it says file error. Now we know we can get lots of errors with SD cards, but it has been known that Bigfoots seem to corrupt video, and of course UFOs, because they could hear, they reckon they could hear sound after power cut of someone walking around outside. But they don't explain if it was just a regular power cut, whether the cables were ripped out, or whether the breakers tripped because there was a short. None explanation on the show whatsoever, but it just adds to the drama that they're being stalked in the property. And there's one of these tree cameras that he's looking at. Now the next thing that happens is she talks about the night before, where she saw these row of lights shining through the forest. Looks like there's quite a few ones if you really look at it, but they don't do any analysis on the video. What is it? I don't know. Looks like it could be behind trees. Could be a bunch of cars, military helicopters landed there, because it's meant to be near an area of forest that the government have claimed, and they're saying it's because it's got Bigfoots there, so they're sort of protecting them so people don't wander into the reserve. And so she shines a torch to say where the lights are, and this big thick forest cover, but the light is here. We need to turn off all the other lights. Everything can sort of line it up. So there. So we're looking at through there, through that gap there. But that kind of looks like it's not in the sky here. That could be like a hillside, right? Could be cars or anything traveling along. I should have said spoiler alert. I forgot to say spoiler alert on this episode. So we're into 10 minutes of it at the moment. So if you haven't seen it, don't listen to the rest of the show. Sorry about that. I forgot to say spoiler. Okay, so on to the next bit. Back in the same area that she was with the lights, she sees something standing behind a tree. It looks like a upper body and a head, doesn't it? Looks like a person. Makes you wonder if it's military though. And there's another one where it steps out further, shows more of the body heat. Definitely looks like it's a humanoid. Whether it's a human, military, or Bigfoot, don't know. And then what's odd is they get eye shine. Where that tree is on a normal camera. And you can see it's got two eyes. And it's the best we got. Two eyes poking around. And of course that rules out humans, because humans don't have the membrane that reflects light back from the back of their eyes. Only animals do. So if you combine the thermal and the two eyes, it's a bipedal creature that has eye shine. Sort of rules out bears and other things. Owls. Which is kind of interesting. So does that prove that it's a Bigfoot? Not really. But that's the best evidence we've got so far from this show. Apart from the fur, which needs to be analysed. Alright, there's the two eyes again. And unfortunately, we need to get access to the source video, 8K, 4K, whatever they're using, to run that through filters, really. Screen show. Images snapped from a screen show is not the best. And while they're out there, they set up Faraday cage cameras. Now, I suggested that they do this with lots of investigations, including Skinwalker Ranch, right? This is the first time I've seen a channel actually consider using Faraday cages. I don't know if they've been watching my show and picking up tips, but who knows? You never know. Because I have been reviewing their show for a couple of years now. Under fair use. So, does it look like a Bigfoot? Suppose it kind of looks like a big head there, doesn't it? But then again, couldn't it be some sort of military goggles that could reflect light back? And it might be like a weak point of the goggles where you can get located that you're not hiding anymore. Could be wearing a ghillie suit, right? But yeah, on the cameras, they got some Wi-Fi on it. It connects into the internet, and they can download it in real time from the tree instead of relying on memory cards, which makes more sense. So he gets this one here, which is kind of interesting. This bright light, but it looks like there might be tree limbs at the edge of it here. So it's behind trees, I think. He kind of thinks it's 6 orbs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only see 4 there in the TV show. But again, I think this is just tree limbs cutting through the light. It's one big light source, I think. Which is really interesting because you do get orbs and Bigfoots together. But this could be military again. Could be those helicopters. Could have dropped off some troops that's turned on some big floodlights. Doesn't look like orbs to me. It looks like one big source. You can see tree limbs going through. So this guy's looking at the screen, and because this is a camera recording a LCD screen again, so we're not getting the best quality here. And he's poking his finger at it. And then suddenly it goes total bright. But I think we can still see some tree limbs here. So that means maybe they turned up the brightness. Well, they turned around and it got brighter. And then they turned it off. And it went like that. It turned straight off after going totally bright. Maybe there was a mistake. And you can see there's something there. As the light fades away. What is it? I don't know. It's UFO Bigfoot. Or military. Oh, this other one. Yeah, so that's the latest episode so far, or the latest evidence. Not sure how convinced you are. But it could be anything, couldn't it? So I might just wrap up on that. Still could be military, couldn't it? Eye shine. But it's just to see what the first sample comes back. I think we can see some hair there on that dish. But anyway, it's probably gone long enough now. So if you've not been watching Expedition Bigfoot, they're at a new location now in California. And the other location they were at went silent. I think they scared them off, actually. And maybe there's something going on there. We have to see what next episode comes out with. But they've been seeing orbs of light in the previous episodes, so but they were red, not white like that. But at least they're trying things. Faraday cage camera. It's about time. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now and say goodnight. I'll just say goodnight up there. Good night, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hopefully it'll be no drama, but we'll see what happens. and more on UFO content, the more interesting stuff. Good night, everybody. Take care on the roads. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Give a thumbs up if you're new watching. Sub would be good. And see you again next time. Hopefully you get brave enough to say more on the side chats if you're new. Okay. So we go.